That's like
Yeah, the classy like rich people water.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Okay, wait. The mic is like for like when we pass around and like somebody.
Are we gonna like introduce ourselves to the camera?
No. But like I don't think that's needed.
You gotta make it known.
No. But yeah, we're gonna like everybody's gonna get a chance to talk. So like, that's
Okay.
why we have the mic. Okay. Does anybody want to put us in the box? Not me.
You're the host.
No, but I'm the one talking. So like somebody
Like you're
else
the
crazy.
host.
You wanna do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. Hopefully I don't mess up like last time. That was bad. Alright. Don't look at me.
Oh.
Holy Spirit, please. Holy Spirit, help us pray. Lord, I thank you for all my brothers and sisters here. I pray that you help us understand and obtain more knowledge today through this Bible study. I pray that you help my brothers and sisters get through their day. Tomorrow, if it is work, I pray that you allow the day to be blessed. I pray that you bless us from this Bible study. I pray that you bless each and every single one of my friends here today. And anything else you guys want to add?
No.
Oh, okay, alright. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Okay. Let me get my mic out.
So quiet.
Hey guys, you guys can talk while I get my mic out. Wait, hold on.
The mic. Just like have it like
I thought it
that.
was your notebook that lit up, but it was just the mic.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, your notebook.
Oh my gosh, a light up notebook.
Are these tabs? Or did
Yeah.
you make those?
Well, I made these, but these are like
Like these.
yeah.
Did you guys get them
Come
on
on.
Amazon or did they come with the Bible?
That's these things.
The tabs, yeah.
Oh, like this.
The tabs.
These are
Oh, I got this from Hobby Lobby.
Oh.
Yeah.
mine are from Amazon.
Mine are from.
So wait a minute.
Okay. So basically, I factored in what I was going to talk about tonight, and I'm going to be talking about spiritual rejection because I found out something new about like what I already knew about spiritual rejection. But are any of you guys already familiar with what they are? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Wait. Wait. Okay. I forget. To the right page. Okay. So, spirit of rejection. A spirit of rejection is basically a combination of a root and a fruit of rejection that come together in your life and they create a spirit of rejection. And it usually begins.
Wait, hold on.
You want me to repeat?
A combination of what?
A root and a fruit of rejection.
Oh, writing this down.
If you
want.
want. If you have
A root and a fruit of
I need to make
a rejection. And it usually starts off very early on in your lives, and you won't really know what it is unless you're like spiritually aware of it. It basically influences and infiltrates your life, identity, relationships by fear, and you end up having rejection in a specific area of your life because you had something happen to you when you were younger, and it grew into that, and then like you have a fear of something, therefore it turned into rejection into that specific part of your life. So it's like the only way to break it is if you figure out what the root is, what happened in your life that made it grow into a spirit of rejection, and you break it at the root, figuring out what happened in your life that made it into that.
Mine says the generational curse.
Yeah, generational curses are also spiritual
Like
rejection.
same thing.
Yeah. So Ephesians 6:12 is the verse that I'm gonna use to like explain.
What was the verse?
Ephesians 6:12. I thought I took it. Okay, can I read it out loud? Okay. 6:12 says, "For our struggle is not against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the powers of this dark world, and against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly realms." So, a lot of the times, it's like all spiritual with the spiritual rejection because it helps you view other people and the problems and issues that they might have as a person instead of looking at them with like a little bit of judgment in your heart to wonder why they act this way, or judgment in your heart to yourself to wonder why you act like this in certain situations. You can know that it's actually just a spirit of rejection that's attacking you in spiritually, like spiritual world, and you can break it. So, like I said, with every spirit of rejection, there has to be a root. So I'm gonna use like my personal example, so you can also figure out like what might be present in your life that you might need to break. And a personal example that I'm gonna use is like a root that happened when I was a child is like physical abuse. Like I was physically abused as a child by my dad, and since that was the root, I wasn't aware of it, but it grew. It like bared fruit from the root. Oh my gosh, I'm rhyming.
Wait,
I'll be
I don't want to interrupt you, but like, how were you able to recognize that that was the like reason?
because the fruit that it bared was the fact that I would not like to be touched by anybody. Like that was like the thing that like as I grew up I started realizing like I didn't like being hugged. I didn't like when I like meet my family and they would kiss me, and I was like I felt like I was being hurt even though it's not even like bad.
Yeah.
So then I realized the root of it was because of his physical abuse from my dad when I was a child. So then I had to break it from the root because like
How do you break it from like once you realize what
you have to pray. You have to do it in prayer.
Okay.
So I'm gonna get to that like later,
Okay.
like breaking it. You have to do it in prayer. And another example was like when I was also growing up, I was extremely nervous. Like it's not just like normal nervousness, but it was like extreme to the point where I would shut up and my parents wouldn't get me to talk, even if they tried to get me to talk. If I'm in a public place or something, depending on like what I'm surrounded by or the people that I'm surrounded by or like the conversations going on around me, if I feel like I'm being like surrounded by too much pressure, then I shut up and I can't talk. And that was because of so much like if there was like wait, what did you want to say so? Okay. Since there was so much like if there was like a lot of loud noises around me, it was because it was crazy. But as a baby, like there was a lot of like fighting in my household. Like my parents would always fight even when I was a baby, and it's like crazy. You wouldn't think a baby would catch all of that as they're growing up, but it's because babies are really sensitive to sound.
Not even just babies though. It could also develop in the fetus too.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because
Like
I remember they talked about this in Encounter that spirits of rejection could literally develop while you're like in
a
the
baby,
fetus,
like in a
like
womb.
not even a baby yet. Like you could be a fetus, and it could develop already. Like that's why sometimes when certain people are getting like delivered from these like things and like certain things that they developed as a fetus, like they curl up into like a fetus when they're being delivered because it's like that's literally where it all started.
Mhm.
And an example is like, for example, like if a woman is doing her gender reveal and she wanted a girl and she got a boy, the second she lets out an emotion of like, oh my gosh, like no, like I wanted a girl, like I wanted a boy, whatever, da da da, like that's already spirit of rejection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's already rejection, and um, what's it called? Yes, it's like, that's how it develops.
Yeah.
Too, like, and it can be the smallest things. Like, sometimes I think that could be the root of homosexuality, right?
Yeah,
Sometimes,
that's true.
like a girl wanting to be a guy or like homosexual, you know, like could be
Yeah.
like that too.
And like when I was a baby, since there was a lot of fighting in my household, because like a baby's so sensitive to sound, I catch all of that like into my like spirit. Like it all like got into me because there was so much like loud noise, and there was like a lot of like commotion. Like sometimes my dad would get physical, like he would throw stuff around or like hit my mom or stuff like that. So like I catch onto that as a baby, and I grew up as a child like having a lot of anxiety. Whenever there was like a loud noise, I would like freeze, or like whenever like there was like it was like unreasonably loud, I would see it as like a negative, and I would have a negative reaction to it. So that was one of the things that I had to break. And the last example is neglect from my mom in the womb. and that's you were just talking about that because when my mom found out she was pregnant with me, I wasn't like planned, you know,
Yeah.
and so she actually didn't want to have a child after my sister. So when she got pregnant with me, she had the thought in her head like to want to get rid of me.
Yeah.
Like she didn't really want me
Mhm.
because I wasn't planned. So like that connected, like even just having the thought of it,
Yeah.
like it connected down to me while I was in her womb. And I grew up. The fruit that it bared into was that I grew up always feeling out of place in my family. Like I felt like I felt like that like rejection, like
Yeah.
neglect. Yeah, like yeah, I always felt like even though like me and my mom never really had a bad relationship, I've always just felt like we weren't connected enough. Like there was some sort of disconnection between us, and the root of it was that. So, yeah, yeah.
How do I find something like that out?
Yeah.
Like,
Like
did
from
you
the
talk to
womb
your
or like
mom?
as you
I
were
actually
growing.
found out. I actually found out that was like the root because when I was younger, when my mom told me, when my mom admitted to me and my sister like the whole thing that happened to her when she was younger, I didn't really think too much about it. But when I started assessing what spiritual rejections were present in my life, I just asked God. And I was like, what is the root? Like, it can even be like, even though I don't even have that, my memory doesn't even go that far. I just asked God to reveal it to me because He knows all my memories, even though I don't remember. So He did brought it back to me that my mom once talked to me about how that was like her experience with being pregnant with me. So I just started realizing, oh, wait, like that is the root of my spirit of rejection. So, like, God can really just, like, if you really just focus on Him and His voice, then He can reveal to you memories that you didn't even know existed in your life. Okay, so I'm gonna get to the point of breaking spiritual rejection, and in order to do that, you have to do it in prayer. And also, actually, before I get into that, I was gonna ask you guys, like, from hearing all of this, did you like start realizing what spiritual rejections might be present in your life right now? Yeah.
I have one that is already.
Oh wait, do you get the mic?
Pass it down. Take one, pass it down.
I don't currently have it already. Like
Oh,
I'm
you
done
broke
with
it?
it, but I'm still gonna give it as an example. Because in Brazil, I used to have this very toxic friend group, like very very toxic. We would just curse each other all day, and I would like fake my personality to them so they wouldn't say bad stuff to me, and that made me until now no until like a year ago or two still be faking my personality to every single person in the earth so they would like me, you know.
Mm,
Nowadays I'm just myself, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, people pleasing. Yeah,
yeah. Did you figure out like what the root of it was? Like,
those friends,
oh,
like they
yeah.
just being mean to me just because they heard something they didn't like,
Oh,
or you know what I mean.
yeah.
Yeah.
Does anybody else want to share? Like some, it doesn't have to be present. Like it can be like you already broke it, or like it's an example. Okay. Okay. So breaking spiritual rejection, you have to do it in prayer, and obviously, the first step that you want to do is acknowledge it. Like figure out what is the spirit of rejection that is present. You figure out the root, and then you figure out the fruit. So like basically the root of it is just like it's usually an event, like something that happened to you in your life. And the fruit is the character, like the trait, the personality trait that it gave birth to.
Yeah.
That lives in you.
And you know, like it's crazy how like before you're free from it, like it shows. Like
Yeah.
it definitely shows like
Yeah.
it could develop into like a spirit of anger too. Like I think you
Yeah.
had a situation with somebody, right? I'm like thinking about that.
Actually, I do have one.
Yeah, you wanna share it?
Yeah. Do I have to like talk into the mic?
Yeah.
Or
It
okay.
doesn't have to be that close. Like you can just like move it.
Well, around the time I moved here, I had like I was friends with all these like popular kids and stuff, and I really wanted to fit in. So fitting in was really like a spiritual rejection to me because I turned away from my mom and actually from my own religion to kind of indulge in all these things like
Yeah.
drugs, sex, and also I would change women and also like you like people pleasing as well to kind of make sure everyone liked me, and I always wanted to like leave like a mark on people, you know,
Mm.
in a way. And
Yeah.
eventually, after changing all of my ways, I did leave a mark on people, and it was
Mm.
like a scar, like a
Yeah.
wound on everyone. And I eventually broke it by like following God, like just like spiritual discipline,
Mm.
like honestly just rebuking myself every time I had a thought, every time I had fallen short, um, or even if I looked at a woman lustfully, just rebuke myself. And it actually, like you said a few weeks ago, um, he starts to take all these things away to where you don't even think about it
Mm.
anymore. And that's kind of what changed me. I'm at good relations with all, well, not all, but a good majority of people who dislike me.
Mm.
So that was one.
Yeah, that's a good example.
I have one.
Okay, wait, give me.
Okay, so I really had a struggle, like a trouble with obsession over
Yeah.
people, and kind of like people pleasing, but like very, like it all started from like just it was really with like boyfriends I had, like this one boyfriend I had. I was very like obsessed and very like don't really know how to put it, but just very
Yeah.
obsessed. And it all like started and like kind of feeling like there would always be like people better like than me, and like needing to know like everything because it's like I have to make sure that like there is no one else and it's just me, because like the fear of like there being other people and
Yeah.
that there were people that like were better, like, you know.
Yeah.
And because of that, like that really like fixated my brain into like thinking like, oh, like no one's gonna like want just me, or like no one's,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
And that comes from a very big part of like being insecure. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Like
Yeah, being insecure, and especially just
yeah.
like in this like generation of like with
Oh.
men like that aren't within God,
Right,
like of the
exactly.
world.
Yeah.
It's such like a big thing today, like about having
yeah.
like multiple women, or like be like just using people, like stuff like that.
I have a thought. No, because what you were just
Yeah.
saying, like a lot
Oh,
of
you
men
can
right
have
now,
the two mics.
like they're really lustful. So because of that, you get more insecure because like, oh, like I won't give you that, but like the other person is, and it's just like it makes you think like, what if I become like that? Then will they like me more? Like that's why a lot of people are filled with a bunch of lust, because they just think if they give them something that they'll like them more and they'll actually love them, but it's really not. Like it's all just full of lust.
Wait, you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is that like before Christ, like you would think that's like kind of normal after a certain time, like certain
Yeah,
like
that's
time.
literally how
Like
I thought.
personally, like me, like I would think like, oh, like it's been a year, like we've been in a relationship for a year, like it's fine.
Yeah.
But no, like at the end of the day, like God just talks about how like that's like the Bible doesn't even talk about dating. It literally
Yeah.
talks about marriage.
Marriage.
So you know,
I'm like,
we were
Yeah.
literally
Yeah, there is like no dating, because it's like you're friends and then you really figure out you
Right.
like each other. You don't
Like, if
you're
that is
not
your
in.
person.
Yeah, exactly, because you only have that one person, and you only have that one chance like to be with that one person, you know. And I really like that took a lot of like trying to work through. And even like still today, like I'm still like getting like praying every day about like that like insecurity of not being enough to everyone, not like
Right.
just everyone, but just like people in specific, and even friendships, like it's even in like feeling like I would like for like a friend that there's always going to be like a friend they like better, or like
Right? Yeah.
like
I
stuff
know what
like
you
that.
mean. I know what you mean. I know. I think for a time I had like the same thoughts. Like I had a specific friend I was like who like kind of like not necessarily dropped me for like dropped me, but like still ended up finding a different group.
And like backup friends,
And
like you.
yeah, and then you start to become a backup friend and you're like, wow, like did I not like what am I
Yeah.
not doing that's like
That they're doing.
enough?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I know what you mean.
Wait, I'm gonna check my camera. Oh, you can talk. I'm
Okay.
just checking.
Here.
I have a question because he was talking about leaving scars on people, and I'm sure I did to a lot of people. Like everyone around me suffered because of me in a type of way. And how do I deal with that?
Like the scars that you left on people.
Yeah.
In the Bible, it says to immediately reconcile with um, those you've hurt or done wrong. So if there's like a way possible, um, a simple apology. I mean, you don't forgive. I mean, you don't repent to receive forgiveness. You repent to inevitably say you're sorry. You know, like it's
One
out
thing,
there.
like also, I sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but like you could also still pray. Like
Mhm.
prayer is obviously like super strong. Like you don't necessarily have to get in contact with the person because sometimes like they either don't want to receive the prayer. I mean, apology, sorry,
Yeah, like a
or
conversation.
they don't want to talk to you, or like you can't even contact them at all. So just like praying about it, just like you know, giving it to God and just like okay, like God takes your apology, and then you know.
Like, that was my next question because most of them I don't have contact with.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But what was I gonna say? Well, bro, I'm gonna be praying all night tonight.
I was gonna say like
Oh wait. Oh, okay. Oh, because sorry, so sorry. I'm so sorry. But because personally, me like I had this best friend,
Yeah.
and like I don't know how to explain it. I had such like I don't even know like just like seeing her face just pissed me off. Like I just
Yeah.
like before Christ, I just
Mhm.
didn't care. Like I did not care. Like I just would say to her face, I didn't care.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I found Christ I was like, wow, like
Mhm.
wow, why would I ever, because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, these people are still children of God. Even if
Mhm.
they're not following God or not, they are still children of God. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And so it's just like you have to come from a place of like, wow, like I just feel more bad for them instead of being like angry for them
Yeah.
because
Like,
it's like
why?
they let me not like
this was just me because this girl was texting me that the girl that went to the like she was like in Fort Lauderdale at the club, and she was talking to these two girls who were literally getting baptized during the weekend, and that's literally what you're talking about. Yes, it was. I can literally find the reel and send it to you because I think I sent it to someone or I commented on it or something because it was a reel, and they were these two girls were outside of a club like dressed like immodestly whatever, and they this girl like came up to them and she was like, do you guys believe in God? And she was like just trying to preach, and they're like, yes, I'm getting baptized this weekend, like it's like probably Friday night or something, and they're like, yeah, I'm getting baptized on Sunday, and like she's like, well then what are you doing out here, like like you're out here partying, getting drunk, all this and that, and then you're gonna go and get baptized on Sunday, like living like a lukewarm Christian life.
let me get this mic. Let me get this mic because this is I was talking about this earlier. We were just talking about this. Not everybody that you're gonna like come across like in your church, on your walk, on your Bible studies, wherever you're going, that people claim that they know Christ. At the end of the day, they're not obeying Christ. Like like many people will say that they believe and whatever, but are they really obeying? Like Okay. Yeah.
This was literally me after like literally a couple weeks ago. This was me. I was like, I go to church every week, every Friday, every Sunday, and then I was like, I was still vaping, I was still doing all these things until it really came down, and I was like, what am I doing? Like literally, what am I doing? Like I do all these things, I'm reading my Bible, but then what is coming out of this? Because I'm not listening to God. I'm not doing as He says because I'm still doing these things that aren't through Him. I'm still sinning every day, and like just like these things, and I'm like, why am I doing this anymore? Like and I just gave it away. And just how you're saying, like God's gonna replace it. Like even like now, like it's been like days and I don't even feel like I want it. Like if I do, I just pray and it goes right away. Like it doesn't even stay. Like it doesn't even like want to be here anymore. Did you want to say something?
Yeah. So
Okay,
what
yeah.
me and Susanna were talking about earlier. Also, who you surround yourself with.
I was just about to
If
say
you
that.
like this someone that we both know, he recently got baptized, and the next like I think like a month later or like a week later, one of his friends posted a picture. He was at a party. They were all drunk and everything. All they do at those parties is drink and smoke. And he just got baptized. But he's always posting about
Right.
like Jesus and everything. And a lot of people in his friend group are the same way. They all post about Jesus and everything. But then on the weekends, they're out partying and everything and doing stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And it's because who they surround themselves with.
100%.
A lot of like their whole friend group is all about smoking and drinking and everything, and they're always throwing parties and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
just like
I was like telling Ashley this. I was like, I feel like your influences matter so much because, like, even though you're like, okay, like, I'm like very hard headed, I'm not gonna fall into it. Oh, you're not gonna fall into it, but you're still hanging around with those people. You're still like, you may not be drinking, right?
Yeah,
You may not be drinking or smoking, but you're still gossiping with the same people. You're still cursing with the same people. Like,
influencing it as well because
exactly.
you're sitting there as a Christian, as a believer
Exactly.
of God, and saying, you know what?
That's what I was telling her. That's
You're
what
like,
I was
it's
telling.
okay. You're like telling these, not telling, but like you're like almost saying, like showing to these people, to these non-believers or non-followers of Christ, that it's okay for them to be doing what they're doing because you, as a
Yeah.
believer, you as going to church every week, is sitting with
I'll
them.
continue after
and-
whatever you say.
Because it's one thing if you're there trying to lead them to God, you know? But
Yeah.
if you're there watching them do everything as they do,
I know. I was like telling
Yeah.
her, I was like, if you know, you're just as bad as a sinner if you're just
Yeah.
gonna sit there and entertain it because
exactly.
even though you're not doing anything, you're letting them be. You're still letting them sin. You're not leading that person to Christ.
Exactly.
And you know, at the end of the day, like it's like you can't force people.
Mhm.
So if you are already talking to them and like telling them like, hey, like you know, this isn't like this is bad, you know. At the end of the day, they can choose to listen to you or not. But God
you can make
already
that for
saw.
yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And God like already knows that. And he still honors that you tried. So if you still tell them and then they're continuing to do it, you already tried. You already gave your 2 cents. So it's like that's that. You can't force anybody into. That's the free will that God gave us. That's the
Yeah.
grace that he left us with was to be able to give us the free will. Oh my gosh. The like the free will to choose him or not, you know?
Yeah.
So
Alright, I'll continue now. Okay. So I was talking about how spiritual rejection, the reason why it's so important to acknowledge them and know what they are and know what they are in other people's life is because it helps you with forgiveness. And you guys basically just like talk so much about it. And
Wait, what? Oh, sorry, I wasn't.
Oh my gosh.
oh my god.
It's just what she said last time. She just repeated it again. So we were refreshed.
About unforgiveness. Okay. Because loving with forgiveness, it helps you love other people with the love of Jesus. And when you see people like that, it makes you unoffendable. And that like I'm going to talk to you guys about why it's so important to become unoffendable in your spiritual walk. Because when people are throwing rocks at you, being unoffendable, it makes you be wise and knowing that even though rocks are being thrown at you, it doesn't actually touch you because Jesus is surrounding your light. So but being unoffendable is actually a component of walking in the path of righteousness, because I'm about to get to another verse. It's Romans 15:3, chapter 15, verse 3. Wait, let me go to it. I'm gonna check the camera because it sometimes it like stops. And
What
then
did she
it
say
doesn't.
about being unoffendable?
Okay, it's still gone.
it makes you wise.
Oh wait, is Susanna in the back? Yeah. I'm gonna wait for her.
Being unoffendable makes you wise in your
In-
walk with God.
Yeah, walk with Jesus, because it helps you realize that when rocks are being thrown at you, it doesn't actually touch you because Jesus is surrounding your light. Okay, I'm going to a verse. It's Romans chapter 15, verse 3.
Oh wait, what did you say before?
I was talking about how being unoffendable is actually really important in your walk with being unoffendable. Is actually really important being in your walk with Jesus, because it helps you realize that when rocks are being thrown at you from other people, it doesn't actually touch you
right.
because Jesus is surrounding your light.
Oh yeah, look. Guys, dang, I'm on a roll. Hold on. Cuz
Chapter 15, verse 3.
okay, so recently I went on like this like kind of road trip like thing with my family, but I didn't go with my parents. And so I was dealing with them. I'm just say dealing. But like dealing with them for like 3 days. No,
Yeah.
2 days. And I don't know, I was like starting to feel very like angry. I don't know. It's just like I feel like I was just around them too much. You know, you're just around that certain person too much. Just like I just want to go home. I don't want to be near them anymore. And I don't know. I was trying so hard not to just like lash out and just like basically like take it out on everybody. And I feel like I think I handled it like well. I like resorted to worship, prayer, and just like talking it out with my leader because because that's another thing too. Like I feel like you got to learn how to like deal with those types of situations. Like
Yeah.
it may not be like a situation where it's like in the moment, but it's like you're still like kind of dealing with it throughout your day and stuff like that. So like um getting in that Bible, like, you know, praying about it, like listening to worship music. I'm telling you guys, like that worship music was getting me through all of that. Like if it weren't for that worship music, I'd probably been crying by the end of that. But yeah, at the end of the day, the enemy's just looking for a reaction. So
Yeah. Okay. So, oh wait, let me read the verse. So, Romans chapter 15 verse 3 says, "For even Christ did not please himself, but it is written, the insults of those who insult you have fallen on me." So that's what helps you being unoffendable. Like what I was talking about, like the rocks being thrown at you. The reason why they don't touch you is because Jesus collects them all. Like he makes it fall on him instead of you.
how do you spell undefendable?
Oh, here it says it. It's underlined.
It's kind of what I like.
Oh wait, here.
Um, that kind of reminds me. Like a few weeks ago, I was like kind of struggling with like talking back and like just being like a hot-headed person. And what really helped me was Proverbs 12. It says, "Evildoers are trapped by their sinful talk, and so the innocent escape trouble. From their fruit of their lips, people are filled with good things, and the work of their hands brings them reward." So, also kind of like ties back into James 3, with I think it was James 3. Now let me pull it up. It was. Dang. But anyways, it basically talked about like how not to respond and how to
Yeah.
respond. So um, from Proverbs, I kind of retained on how to respond to like those who speak ill will on me. And kind of just reply with like love and kindness. Like essentially it's that saying like kill them with kindness.
Yeah.
And it actually works too. I've found that out. I play a game called Rainbow Six Siege, and
Oh my goodness.
people aren't nice. I'll just tell you that. And I'm not really a nice person back, but there's this one time where I had tried to like just be kind back, even though I was being like crap talked on, and we ended up becoming like really good friends and stuff. And like it's kind of weird because in the Bible also says that um some of your enemies will actually turn into like what should we call it? Foes will turn into friends. I think I don't know. Somewhere in the Bible that I had read, and anyways, I had that revelation because I immediately thought back to that. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I didn't resort to like cursing back at them or just screaming into my mic or anything, or doxing them or just kind of hacking their account.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
yeah,
I can add on to this kind of. Sometimes you can be in control of like what situations you're putting yourself into, like what is causing you to like commit that certain sin. So like for example, like if this game is really like putting you through that much, like oh like I'm gonna like literally curse at somebody if I keep playing this game, like you can be in control of that and stop playing that game, and like ask God, like hey, like God, like is this game like edifying, like like it can be like the game, it may seem something small, but it's still like can affect a lot because at the end of the day, like the enemy's everywhere, it's in everything. So if this game is really affecting you that much, you can like rethink it too. You can talk to God about it too.
Oh, you can
Yeah.
put the mic.
Oh, he has a mic.
Alright, were you gonna say?
I was.
Okay. No, wait. No, I just want to testify about what you said, specifically about video games, because not only video games made me super mad, Rainbow Six Siege, oh my lord, and like,
Oh my gosh, guys, what is this? Like, okay, go.
Okay,
okay,
continue.
and like, it made me lose a lot of time and not spend time with God, so I had to cut it off. And nowadays, I play once in a while, every like 3 months, because like I can't. It's just
There's no time for it.
there's no time for it, and I'm easy to get addicted to that specifically because I love to do it.
Another thing is that like I feel like sometimes you can be in control of like what like the certain times you have, like, you know, you're playing a sport, you're playing video games, like make that time for God, you know, because I know certain people that are playing sports that just decided this year to drop it. I know a specific person who was playing a sport last year and decided to drop it this year because they felt like the time, like they were putting too much, almost idolizing the sport, or like even the environment, the sport that they were in, like it was just very competitive, and that can very much affect certain things. So like if you're in a like competitive like atmosphere, you can might like you can kind of develop like, you know, angry, like you can get angry, you know, sometimes, for example. So like you can think about that too.
Um, I wrote it in here. It was it was it was talking about cursing too, because in a way I feel like we all like out the random will sometimes idolize cursing at the same time without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And this is what I was gonna say earlier. It's James 3, verse 3, verses 6. It says, "We put bits into the mouths of horses to make them obey us. We can turn a whole animal. eh, oh, blah, blah. We can turn a whole animal, or take ships as an example. Although they are so big and are driven by strong winds, they are steered by a very small rudder. Whenever the boat wants to go. Pilot wants to go. Likewise, the tongue is a small part of the body, but it makes a great boast. Consider what a great forest is, set on fire by a small spark. The tongue is also a fire, a world of evil among the parts of the body. It corrupts the whole body, sets the whole course of one's life on fire, and itself set on fire by a big hell." And in a way, that, like how you idolize things, it could be anything, like smoking, vaping, drinking, a friend's boyfriend, girlfriend. The tongue also like is kind of idolized in a way, and you have to use it to like. Well, I'm sure you all know this. You got to use it to glorify God in whatever you say, you know. And whenever we curse, it may seem like a very small thing, but if you keep doing it, I've noticed this myself too. It slowly drags you away from God without you even noticing it, to where you can't even feel His presence anymore. And that's something that I've like been really struggling with, was just feeling His presence and wanting and like like becoming hungry for that. But what I kept doing was like sinning and stuff.
Sorry.
Yeah.
No, keep going. Keep
No,
going.
I just finished.
Sorry. I'm like, I have, guys, I don't know. I'm sorry. This is a very basic, like I feel like everybody kind of knows this verse is like, out of the same mouth, you know, can't come curse and
Hmm.
flow worship God, you know, something like that. Something about spring water, guys. I don't know. But for me, oh my gosh. Wow. For me it felt like cursing took like a lot, like to get out. Like I think for me it was cursing, and music was
Mhm.
very, very, very hard for me. I was like, wow, it was, to me in my head I was like, no, this is impossible, like I can't do it. Like wow, my flesh was like, I can't do it.
Mhm.
And then it wasn't until this one day, I this was for the cursing. It wasn't until this one day I was sitting in class and I was with a few friends, and this one of my friends was like, no, I was talking about church. I was talking about going to church. I don't know, something about church. I don't specifically remember the conversation, but he had said like something, how like he just made this like remark. He was like, "Oh wait, like you go to church, like you're not like basically saying I'm not like a representation of Christ. And I was like,
Mhm.
but mostly because he kept on hearing me curse. Like I was like, my mouth was like, you know? And so I feel like that was one of the things that just like opened my head, like it just like, wow, I was not representing Christ like that. Because at the end of the day, like people do notice. People do notice. And I just didn't think about that in the moment. So yeah, that's kind of like for me that, and like I kept on praying about it. Like I gave that up to God so much because it was like one of my biggest things. Like, because we get so used to it. Like before Christ, like we are like so used to just like whatever is coming out of our mouth, and like it can be the littlest things too. Like, you know, like you're laughing and you're like, oh, I'm dead. Like, no, you're alive. You're alive.
Yeah,
You know,
right. It's
and
those little
amen. Like,
things that, like,
yeah,
even when
it's
you're
those little
joking.
things. It's even when you're joking. Trust.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right, I'm gonna continue it as well.
Oh wait, did you want to finish what you're saying?
I was gonna take us off track a little bit because I had wrote something today, but
Oh, okay.
it's all right.
Okay. So Romans, I'm gonna read the verse again so we could like refresh.
Mhm.
15, 3. It says, "For even Christ did not please himself, but as it is written, the insults of those that insult you have fallen on me." And I was just saying, like, that tells you how whenever those rocks are being thrown at you, you don't have to worry about them touching you, and it helps you be unoffendable because Jesus is catching them for you. And the reason why this connects back to spirits of rejection and in forgiveness and being unoffendable, it's all components of walking in the path of righteousness because it's all spiritual. And there's also in Romans chapter 9, it talks about how um, God, Jesus, condemned sin to only live in your flesh. It can't touch you in spirit. And the reason why he did that is because so that he could make righteousness be gained in through the spirit, like life by the spirit. Like for example, like spirits of rejection is spiritual. The armor of God is a spiritual armor. The fruits of the spirit is spiritual traits. What other things are spiritual? Like the body of Christ. When you live in the body of Christ, it's a spiritual body that you're living in, and the path of righteousness is a spiritual path that you're walking in. So there's a purpose for why God intentionally only condemned sin to live in your flesh, because He knows that in order to get to heaven, in order to continue walking in this path of righteousness, it has to be in the spirit, and sin can't touch you in the spirit. That's why you continuously kill your flesh and elevate your spirit so that you don't entertain what's been condemned in your flesh. That's sin. And you don't feed into what's been condemned in your flesh. And like there's actual ways you can do that. One way, like a physical way you can actually kill your flesh is through fasting.
Yeah.
And another way you can kill your flesh is through sacrifice. Like when you wake up in the morning and you figure out that your flesh, this is the one thing that your flesh wants to entertain. And you know that sin lives in your flesh, so you can't entertain that. You have to sacrifice it. Whatever that thing is that your flesh is trying to get you to do, you have to sacrifice it and say no. Like you have to go the other way. Yeah. Did anybody want to say anything? Or I let you guys like write. And another thing is that as you walk in the path of righteousness and you analyze like all the things that's trying to trigger you and being unoffendable, it actually helps you kill your flesh too. Because when you so badly want to be offended by somebody, it's constantly feeding your flesh. It's constantly feeding those parts of you that wants to lash out on somebody because you're so offended by what they did to you, or like you're not having a Christ-like attitude when you're offendable. When you're so offendable, it keeps you from practicing the Christ-like attitude and Christ-like character traits and the fruits of the spirit, for example.
Wait, can I add on to that?
Yeah.
I feel like back then, like before Christ, so I don't know if this was just me or not, but for like not caring about what people think, it was more like, oh, I don't give a like whatever. I'm gonna have that mentality, like I don't care about what people like, but at the same time, you're still kind of like feeding into it, if that makes sense. Like I don't know, in a way, you're kind of still feeding into it because you're still angry. Like that mentality comes out of being angry at the end of the day. And you're also not praying about it because you're so like you're angry about it, so like, and you're not knowing of God, so it's like, what are you giving it to? Like, it's still there, it's still there. And like, I feel like that can also develop into like rejection. So I feel like it's just still there if you're not gonna like pray about it, give it up to God, and just like say you don't care about it, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like that come like for me that came from like a spirit of like feeling too much about something, and it was like people saying, Emily, like, why do you care so much about this? And then I was like, okay, well, I have to not care about it then. So then it's like, okay, now anytime I think about it, it's like, no, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And then you're like constantly telling your and then you're just feeding yourself lies to like just not care about something, when then you have to like choose not to care, and you're putting in more effort than if you were just to care about it, like how you know, like you would want to, like, oh, like whatever it could be, like you're just putting in more effort to like not want to care about it.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like when you're not caring, like, it's not like you're trying to work on it because you don't care about it, so you're not working on it, you're not praying about it, you're just like it develops, it starts to develop into hate, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like the littlest things can develop into so much more.
And you
So
don't even realize it.
you don't realize it, exactly.
And it seems like something so harmless. It seems like so harmless at first, but then it turns like so like sacrificial,
Yeah,
and then it's like, wait, like how did this happen? Like this was just so small.
Yeah. Okay. So being unoffendable, it helps you deny like worldly triggers, because when you're offended by somebody, it's triggering your flesh actually. When you put when you're like, when somebody's like bullying you, someone's persecuting you, especially like for your faith, somebody's like mocking your faith, or like like kind to you, like they're not kind to you in any way, like they're just disrespectful to you. Obviously initially you want to be offended to that, but it's actually a part of your flesh. It's triggering your flesh to want to be offended, because your flesh knows that the moment that you feed into that offensiveness feeling in your spirit, then the enemy also knows it. He's watching out, like he wants it to feed into your flesh, because he knows that once it does, it's going to lead you to sin. It's going to lead you to all these different things that's going to like make you regret what you're doing. It might make you like yell at somebody, and after you're going to realize like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. And it just like leads you into a path full of evil. Like it's path, it's like it leads you to this circle of like a cycle of like a place that you know Jesus wouldn't want you to be in. So like it's just important, like this goes back all the way to like spiritual rejection, because spiritual rejection, knowing what they are, it helps you be unoffendable, and being unoffendable helps you walk in righteousness, and then walking in righteousness helps you seek Jesus more. So um I was gonna say like certain examples, like I that came to me when I was studying this, like certain examples of spiritual rejection that can be present. Like that might also help you guys, like examples not only in yourself, like it doesn't have to be present in you, but also like see when you talk to more people and like you notice this in them, you can know that it's a spirit of rejection, and then you can know like maybe you can pray for them in that moment. So one spirit, you can use my personal examples as one. So physical abuse. Let me go to. Oh wait, these are my other notes. So adoption. If somebody was adopted, if somebody had any form of abuse, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental, verbal, any form. Constant fighting in a household. A parent's disinterest in their child. Neglect and abandonment. Addictions, any form of addiction, like it can be like a physical addiction onto something, but it can also be an emotional addiction. For example, like I know a really like common one I see in people is like lust, like they're addicted to things that are lustful.
Also, it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. This is something that I did not know. And bro, addiction is its own topic. It's its own topic, but it doesn't necessarily have to be something bad. Like, it can form in other things too, and also it can come from a generational curse. Because, like, for example, uh like in a bad, like if it's not in a bad way, like, okay, let's say my dad was addicted to drinking,
Yeah.
but it like I can also develop an addiction, but it doesn't necessarily have to be to drinking. It could be like my phone, it could be I don't know, lust. It could be whatever, anything else, and it doesn't have to be bad too. Like it could be an addiction of Hello Kitty, for example. Like I don't know, random, but like I saw that a lot. Like an addiction to Hello Kitty. Like that was just something big. And yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if you know, but I think your mother is able to free you from, or no, was this? No, I think that was the topic.
Generational curse,
Generational
yeah.
curses. That was no, that was
Your mom
generational
can help
curses, not
you.
rejection. Never mind. So I didn't go with that, but yeah.
Yeah, but wait, I'm gonna continue. So like
Okay.
any form of addiction doesn't have to be physical, but emotional, like lust, like addiction to any forms of lustful activities or like lustful things in the world. Like, like if you have an addiction to sex, like sex before marriage, if you like idolize that in a relationship that you're in, stuff like that. Mistreatment, if you or another person have been mistreated in their life, that can grow into a fruit of rejection, spirit of rejection. Discontent from your own appearance. So like if there was a root in your life.
No, that's not what I meant.
I know. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, because he gave me a look. I thought it was funny. No, I know. I was
Yeah.
kidding. I was
So
kidding.
discontent from your own appearance. Like if somebody has an excessive amount of insecurities in themselves and they
Right.
constantly talk about it and they think it's normal. They think it's normal to be saying all these things about themselves, insecurities, and like basically hating themselves. It's
Yeah.
like they're so discontent with their own appearance. That usually comes out from a root that in their life where maybe as a child they were bullied because of their appearance. They were bullied for their appearance, and then it grew into a fruit that made them discontent with their own appearance and made it for them to be normal, to be so insecure, to be like looked
That
down.
is so normalized, by the way. Sorry. But no. That is so normalized, by the way. Like, social media has normalized being insecure, all of that. Like, guys, no, that's not normal. That's not normal. Being insecure is not normal, guys. Like, that's not what you are not. Do not disrespect God's creation like that. You are God's creation. You
Okay.
cannot be like.
Not only
Okay,
is
go,
social media a big part, I think parents are also a big part in your insecurities. I've dealt with my own mother. She'll like sometimes, obviously, maybe sometimes she doesn't mean in a bad way, but it just like, obviously, like you're taking it a wrong way. Like
Yeah.
she'll say like, she'll compare me to my sister that's like smaller than me or like anything. She'll just like say certain like comments, and it's just like, it makes you just think like bad things about yourself and your body and like everything. Like I feel like parents don't realize how much they put on their like children's like insecurity and everything. Like any little comment will do so much to you, and like
Yeah.
Also with how we're created and like how our appearances and insecurities, that being so normalized with like plastic surgery and how everyone wants like the biggest
Wait, let me make sure it's on. Oh yeah, it's on.
but like everyone is getting plastic surgery these days, filler, botox, everything, when we're all made exactly how we're meant to be. God created us in his perfect image, and we created, us humans created all these things to change how we're made, when we're made in this one image to be our unique self, that no one else looks like us and no one else is us.
Exactly.
And we
exactly.
change our noses, whatever it could be, to look like other people, and everyone wants to be
Right.
like these like famous people, like the Kardashians or whatever it might be, you know.
I know. I feel like there's so much comparison. Like from
Yes.
social media has opened up this
Oh, yeah.
big door of like straight up insecurities, like all
And
anything you could
even
think of.
mental disorders, like if
Mental.
you see on TikTok,
Yeah.
everyone like wants to have
Normal.
oh my
yes,
bro,
everyone
getting influenced really badly.
yeah, those
Oh
like
my
workouts
goodness.
to have like
Like,
eating disorders,
oh.
everything.
Yeah, like also the thing with like ADHD, I don't know. I know it was like a joke. It was like a trolls for I don't know. It was trolls. Like everybody wanted to have ADHD for some
Yeah.
reason back when they were like in elementary. They thought it was like the coolest thing ever for some reason. Like I don't know, like stuff like that. Like in bro, it's just dumb. Like
That
what?
actually brings me to another point. Another like that reminds me of an example. I didn't say it, but living with defects, and a defect can be like mental or physical. Like a mental disorder is a defect, and a physical disorder can also be a defect, and that can grow into a fruit of rejection. Wait, let me read. Um, People pleasing and emotional dependency, which you guys actually talked about. That's definitely like a common one that I see in other people too, and they think it's normal. They think it's normal to be like
Yeah.
to please people because they think it's nice, but like to overly be
Yeah.
a people pleaser, that's not normal.
Because then you're putting someone else's needs before your
Yeah.
own.
and emotional dependency. Like
The same,
I was
yeah.
like just about to ask like what's like the big like really major issue about being like a people pleaser.
Putting your other people's needs before your own, I
Yeah.
feel like.
Pretending to be something you're not.
You stop putting God first.
Yeah.
You stop putting God first for others.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like you
okay.
please them, but like the Bible literally says if you're still trying to please people, then you're not a servant of Christ. That's
And
in
I
Galatians
always
1:10.
think about it, it's like you're in an airplane, you know,
Yeah.
and the oxygen mask come down. You gotta help yourself before you help other people. Like how we were talking about before, like if we're sitting in a room like with all sinners and we're the Christian, we don't wanna, especially in our beginning of our walk, we're not gonna be doing that because we know how easily tempted we're gonna be
Yeah.
as beginning people walking with Christ.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta help yourself heal first before like you go and help other people and lead them in the walk.
How can you catch
Definitely.
yourself doing it though? Like
Like people pleasing?
yeah.
Well, there's two types of it. So there's like
Oh,
serving, and then there's serving, and then there's pleasing people, right? So Jesus calls us to serve as he did. Like, take a look at him, right? If you're serving anyone else and other how he did, I kind of find that in like a way that you're people pleasing, like trying to make them happy, even though it goes against your own morals, your own happiness. That's how you catch yourself.
Yeah, and most importantly, like when when you're pleasing people, is when you notice that it starts to go against what you believe, like especially in your faith, what you believe in your faith and what you know God is calling you to do. This is like he says this is wrong, he says that is right. But if you in this certain situation, you're about to do something for somebody, but you know it's gonna go against what God just said was wrong. I mean, it was right. Then that's you're pleasing somebody. You like yeah, you're people pleasing.
That makes sense.
Okay. And then these are like with every root of rejection there's also a fruit. And there's like I literally said so much so like I can't get to every single one to say like what fruit can come out of that. But like I'll say like the common ones, like forms of abuse, like I just said. Oh wait, what did you want to say?
Send that on the Discord or something.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll just say like the common ones, like forms of abuse. Like I just said, my example, like a form of abuse can give birth to a fruit that makes you not feel good with when somebody is doing something to you because of the abuse that you experienced. Um, competition with brothers and sisters. I don't think I said this one in the list. It was competition with brothers and sisters, and that's a root, and it can grow into a fruit where because of so much competition that you had with your sibling as the root, it can go into a fruit where when you're in like a friendly like when you're like battling somebody like in a friendly way, when you're playing with somebody in a friendly way, you can see it, you can feel rejected in that moment because of that root of rejection. In that moment, you like the certain situations you can feel rejected in a way where you think they're actually trying to hurt you instead of just like friendly
Right. Oh my
playing,
goodness.
they're
That
just like
makes
playing
sense.
around and they're just joking around with you, but you think they're hurting you because and
Yeah.
you feel hurt too, like you feel that hurt in you
Oof.
because of that root of rejection.
Yeah, that reminds me of somebody. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, I just like
And adoption, that one's kind of like you can kind of see it like because of like yeah
Every
yeah.
single person that is adopted has a problem.
yeah
Like, weirdly.
and um wait, what was I gonna say? Oh, mistreatment. When somebody mistreats you as a root in your early life, like in any way, actually, like even in school, if somebody like once bullied you in some way, or like somebody once like left you out. Oh, that's another
Yeah.
one. Like left you out purposely, or like even in your family, if your family once purposely left you out because they didn't think you were like worthy of like good enough to be in that like certain hangout or like certain
Key
event.
key key bonus though, not to interrupt you, but most times when you're being left out, that is a sign from God that you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
100%. Most of the time it's like that. God is that's like its own way of like saying that he's like protecting you from where you're
Yeah.
in. Like for example, like if you're in a group and they're just all drinking, smoking, you're like, wait, like I don't even do this, and like you're just like left out, you're just like in your own corner, like
Yeah.
that's its own way of you're not supposed to be there.
Yeah. But that's like the conviction
And
being left out. But I'm
yes.
talking about wait. Yeah, I'm talking about like the spirit of rejection being left out. So
Oh, okay, okay,
yeah,
okay.
I'm gonna explain more about it.
And like things like even like my mom saying no to things, and it's like she would
Uh,
normally say yes to this, but then she said no, and it was like a concert or like
oh wait.
a party or like if my mom would normally say yes to something, but it was like something like a concert or party that she would always say yes in the like before, like when I was really worldly. And I remember this one time I wanted to go down. I think it was like Fort Lauderdale, and I was with some friends, and I was like, "Mom, can I go?" And she was like, "Emily, no." And she didn't have a reason why. She was just like, "No."
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah, and it
god.
was just like there's no reason. Like that's just like, and now like thinking it's like that's God. Like something had to have happened, like then, or like would have happened then if I would have went. Like you never know, you know.
Okay. But like the a root of rejection or being left out, like the examples that I just said, it can give birth to a fruit of rejection where you're excessively thinking that you're being left out in every situation. And I see this a lot in a lot of people like in public too. Like somebody just thinks they're being left out even if they're actually not being left out, but because of the spirit of rejection and that fear that they have in themselves out of the something that happened to them in their childhood, they have so much fear in it in every situation that they're saying I'm being left out, but it's actually
Wow.
just like the excessive amount of rejection of them that they're making themselves be left out because they're constantly thinking like I'm being left out, so
And then
they
like only
push
making it
themselves
happen.
Oh
away.
my goodness. Yeah, they do. Like
So they
they'll
like
literally.
literally pull themselves away from the group,
Yeah,
and then they're like, wait, no, they're
that is
making me
true.
left out, but no, it's actually them. They're like walking away from the group
That
and
is
saying
true.
they're the ones that are making me left out, but it's actually yourself. You're pulling yourself
Yeah,
away.
100%. I can agree on that. I've definitely seen that, and I do know a specific person who does do this. They will literally 100% be included into everything. Like they're invited to this party, for example. You're invited to the celebration and all this, and like you like they just self like I don't know how to explain it, but it's so obvious. Like they just self um take themselves out. Like they just
Yeah, like they
remove
pull
themselves.
themselves away.
Yes,
Yeah.
they self isolate.
And
They
then
shut
they,
down too. Like
yeah.
especially when it's like people they don't know. Like they're just they're like I don't know. They're just no no I don't know. Okay okay. But yeah, they just like self isolate even when they're sometimes they don't even try. Like they'll like be like, "Oh no, I'm fine." Like no, that's like wait, I just like had a whole realization. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, like when somebody is like excessively pulling themselves away from a situation and then they use the excuse that it's actually the people around them leaving them out. It's a spirit of rejection. So, yeah. Great. Oh, I forgot the others part. It's sense of failure. That's an example. Betrayal and unexpected death is also examples of roots of rejection that can grow into fruits.
Unexpected death of what? Like
Unexpected death, like in your family, like or like even like a friend, like anybody that had an unexpected death, or like if
how
they
does
had
that?
Because then it could be
How
like
does
a
that?
fear.
yeah, no, like an unexpected death example is like a sickness. Somebody was sick, and like maybe like the doctor said like, oh, this person's gonna live, like we'll continue to work that this person's your family's gonna live, and then suddenly one day they just die and it's unexpected and you
How does?
didn't know because the doctors told you this your family member is gonna live, like we're gonna take care of them, and
Oh.
then you feel that sense of betrayal because the doctors said they were gonna live
Mm.
but they died. So it's like you end up growing up and it gives birth to a fruit that it's like you just fear whenever something like that happens again. You're like, I don't want to, I don't want to, like that person won't want to make themselves a part of that situation anymore because they're like, I don't care what the doctors say, this person's gonna die because that happened to like someone in your life. Or like if somebody else's situation, they like start telling them like they start telling people like, oh no, this person's gonna die. It doesn't matter what the doctors say. Like they're gonna tell your friend like your family member's gonna die, and it's scary because some people actually do that out of the rejection that they had from something in their lives. They're gonna tell you like, oh, they're gonna die. And
Wow,
then
that's like a really unexpected one. I did not expect that.
yeah, and betrayal, that one's kind of like easy to understand. Like when you're betrayed by somebody, as a root, in any way, it can grow into a fruit that whenever something gets, when you ever get close to somebody in a friendship or in a relationship, you have this fear that if this happens, then you kind of like shut down because you know you've been betrayed in that certain moment before, that when it kind of starts growing again in the future, you're like you don't want to, you like become avoidant to it. And examples that I've seen in relationships, like when somebody's dating somebody, because they have a spirit of rejection of betrayal, and they know that somebody betrayed them in their past, that's the root. And in the relationship, because of that spirit of rejection, something grows closer to that moment, that similar moment that happened to them in the past. And because of the fear, they break up with that person because they're like, I was betrayed once when this happened. So to like avoid it, I'm just gonna cut the relationship because I don't want that to happen again. So
That can
it's
be
a
like from constant like relationships too. I feel like when you're like in one relationship and then they betrayed you, then you go into another one, they betray you again, and then
yeah,
it's like a
constant
constant cycle.
betrayal.
Yeah, a betrayal cycle basically, and then you're finally in something really good and healthy and like
Yeah.
whatever, and then you're just like
Yeah, and especially like it grows closer to that moment, but because you haven't broken that spirit of rejection,
right.
that person might actually be a really healthy partner and they're
Yeah,
like willing to walk on it with you, like fix it. But because of that spirit of rejection, you're just like, no,
yeah,
like I want to break the relationship. Yeah.
People I've seen like on TikTok, they'll post and be like, when you're in a relationship, but it's too good or something like that, or like
Yeah, it's
they
like,
leave a guy because he's too nice or too
mm-hmm.
like he doesn't start any arguments, and they're like, yeah, like I didn't want that, it was too boring, and they
Yeah.
say that because there's no problems and because
Yeah,
they
it's
don't
like,
start arguments.
that's crazy.
yeah.
I know. I was thinking about that too, like
Yeah.
social media. Like I was just thinking about how like social media again, social media normalizing something that's just like a spirit, like literally
Yeah.
rejection. But yeah.
Yeah. And oh, I'm gonna read down this list too of examples of fruits that can be given birth to by the roots. I'm only gonna say three because I don't want to like spend so much time on it. And one example is the inability to rest without activity. Um, one is being like really hard on yourself, like excessively hard on yourself to the point where you don't let yourself do anything because like you're so
Wait, explain the first one that you said.
oh, inability to rest without activity. So it's like I actually had this spirit of rejection. It was like a fruit, but it's like whenever you're going about your day and you know that you're like working and everything, but you force yourself to work more because you know like you need to have a time to rest, but you know that in order to reach that goal of resting in a day, you have to work towards
Yeah,
it, like you have to like
that makes sense.
yeah, like you have to like force yourself to
Like
get up.
overproduction, like
Yeah,
you're
like you're like
overdoing yourself on it.
overworking yourself because you know like you've had this fixation where in order to rest I have to do this and this and this,
Mm.
and then I will be able to rest. And there will be certain times where you forget to eat, like you forget to drink, you forget to
Yeah.
eat, you forget to take care of yourself because you're so focused on working to rest.
Yeah.
Like you have to like take care of yourself too. And that can come out of a root where maybe in your like childhood you were made to work so much, like maybe your parents like overworked you, like they made you do so many chores in one day, and then and then as a reward they made you rest, you know? So it gave you like that routine, like fixation that as you grow up, as you become more independent, that it became normal to you that in order to rest, you have to do this,
Do you
like
think,
work.
I don't know if this applies, but do you think it could apply to like small innocent things as like when you're a child, like, oh, finish your food and then you can get this toy?
Yeah, like that. Like they use like the wrong
Mm.
forms of reward for you.
Yes, and everyone's I think it was the last no, no, last night. And we were just all like worshiping, and but it was like a dance party, like worship. Yes. Yes. Oh, sorry. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah, that comes with like finding God and like again, like
Yeah.
replacing, like he replaces those things with
Yeah.
innocent things like that edify him, like, and then you start to enjoy those things, you know. And
Did
like,
you want to say something?
No, it's just
oh,
just simple. It's the joy of the Lord. It's
Joy of
that
the
simple.
Joy of the
Yeah.
Lord. Yes.
yeah,
Okay,
like,
wait.
but like, it's like it all comes. Oh my gosh, it all ties down to like also that could be like a temporary pleasure. Like it's just that it's gonna satisfy you for like 1 second, and then like, oh my gosh, we're gonna get off topic, but
It's 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock.
Wow.
Oh, well, we have like 30 minutes, I guess. Like 9:30.
Okay.
Okay, you can keep going.
No, no,
I'll
no,
talk
go
if we
ahead.
have more time. Keep going.
I have a mic and I'm like using.
Just hold it.
Yeah, you can just keep it. And the next one, like this one's a common one too. Like I've helped people with this is the fruit of rejection of lust. And it can also go back to addiction too. Like that's
Yeah.
also like you can have addiction to lustful stuff.
Yeah.
But that can come out of a root in your past or like in your childhood where you were exposed to that type of environment at such a young age, or even if your parents expose it to you at too early on, or like even if they like showed you it too. Like I've heard people like their parents like like literally show them like the most graphic stuff at such a young age, like lustful stuff, and like out of the thought that they thought they was teaching them something, but it's really just opening them up to something too early.
Yeah.
And also abuse, like sexual abuse, that can tie back to like a root of rejection where you were sexually abused by somebody in your family or like a friend or like a relationship that can grow into a fruit where you accept like obsessed with it. You're obsessed with like um lust. You're obsessed with like sex, like you're obsessed with like having that in a relationship, that you think you need to have it in a relationship in order to thrive as a relationship, but it's actually just killing your flesh.
Wait.
It's actually just killing your spirit and feeding your flesh.
Another thing is that it also ruins your marriage. That is such a big thing. Like getting a bad idea of lust like early on, and like just, I mean, not getting a like uh lust can give you like a bad idea of what like love can look
Love
like,
is, yeah.
what love is.
Lust kills love, actually.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so when you're just like full of lust, it's like it kills that marriage, that like godly, like for example, like you're on your wedding night and it's just like you can guys finally, like,
Yeah.
you know what I
When you
mean,
think about it,
experience the things that you couldn't really, and then but you still haven't been freed from that, like it happened before you were like coming to Christ. It could very much ruin that moment, and and stuff like that. So I feel like, yeah.
Yeah. And like any forms of lust, there's also like obviously like the most worldly concept of lust is like pornography, because it's the most distorted way of love and the distorted way of like how God intended that act to be, because it was it's supposed to be a gift. Like
yeah,
God created
it's
that
actually a good thing, but
yeah.
we people, we
Yeah.
turn
Yeah,
it
it
around.
was like a good gift that God created for a marriage,
Yeah,
and the world has like distorted it to
Yeah.
be so public.
because
It's a
that's
private
how,
thing,
like,
but
that's one of the ways because when you marry, you're supposed to be one, and that's
Yes.
having that moment is when you're actually connecting physically as one person.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like it ruins it. Literally
Yeah.
ruins
Yeah.
that moment, like
Yes.
of marriage, and like it's just, yeah.
yeah. So that's like a common one I see, and that again like that root that comes from a root of rejection where you were exposed to it too early. And wait, I mentioned abuse, sexual
Yeah.
abuse. I mentioned there's like many different ways, especially if even if you experienced it too at a very early age, even if it was intentional, like you intentionally experienced it at a too early age, it can open up that spirit of rejection, that you become obsessive to it, like it's a need that you have to have. And yeah, I think that's it. I'm gonna send like all the rest of the list in the group chat so everybody
you.
can see it. Yeah, but like you guys can talk more, like more on like whatever you want.
Yeah.
You're gonna wait. What are we gonna talk about? Like
Temporary pleasure.
oh, temporary pleasure.
Temporary pleasures. Okay. So this was a really big thing for me before I found God, especially being like um like I last year was really hard in temporary pleasure. Like I really but I really found like I lost myself completely. I was in really bad depression, and then I like found that in drinking and smoking and all of that, as like it was like the only thing that like helped in that moment. Like that was like And then so I would just drink but then in the morning I felt so bad. And then I'd have to repeat the cycle over and over and over and over again. And that would happen for a full year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's also like food that needs to be eaten. So like don't
Okay.
make it too long.
Are those the Publix cookies?
Yeah. Do you want some?
Yes.
I already prayed over the food, so you can eat it.
Oh my god. What? I mean. What?
I already prayed over the food, so you can just get it and eat it.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't want to seem fat.
Because also
I'm
like my phone has been taking up so much footage.
Okay,
that
yeah. We can be done.
We're gonna eat now. Okay, that was a really good Bible study, I think.
Yes.
But I did not expect to talk at all. I was like,
know you
bro,
were like on a streak.
dude, I was like,
This was
ever since I heard about the Bible study, I was like, I'm not about to talk in that line, girl.
Oh no, but like no.
Like, to me, it was like a podcast.
I don't know why.
It was like Bible
Yes.
study
I don't know
podcast.
why this. You should name it that. Like, do like a little thing on like
Yeah.
YouTube or something, or
Bro,
like an
I
Instagram
don't
thing.
know
of all of
why.
us and,
It
like,
doesn't happen to me during like actual Bible study. What?